Kim, I want to get your voice in here, because you're having a practitioner in this conversation was such an important and very specific choice that I know Cassandra made, because finding the right person to work with to understand what's going on is so crucial. So from someone who's been working with and supporting day to day, in a clinical setting, people who are living with disabilities, and particularly young women, the age group that we're looking to target through this advocacy program.
Well, the first thing is how relatable and how often I hear, if not these stories, certainly ones that are very similar. So I think the experience of these three women is, if not universal, it's certainly very common. And the things that make it common is that we live in a society that has a whole set of expectations of people, but particularly women, and each one of us, even if we think we're immune to it, absorbs that from a very early age. And so I often see young people come to me who have believed that for years on end they have been failing at something. Why don't I do what everyone else does? Why am I struggling more than others? It must be me, because it can't be any other reason. And even at the point of diagnosis, it doesn't erase years of being criticised, years of being, identified as difficult or neurotic, or you're just not coping as well as you could. And in fact, that whole idea of capacity or spoons, we've got people who are working really hard to do a day, and yet internally they know they're working hard, they know women, men, are trying really hard to do well, and yet the world is asking more of them, but more importantly, they're criticising themselves. So what I see as a practitioner is really intelligent, really capable, really insightful women and men who have had a dialogue with themselves about self-criticism, which has often been reinforced by their school. I'm trying to be gentle to families, but often by families. I work with a young woman who has cerebral palsy, and she grew up believing that if she worked hard enough, her cerebral palsy would go away. And she has tried to walk as fast as everyone else. She has tried to do a day like everyone else. And one thing I often ask of the people I work with is, if you can do a day that is about you, that satisfies your needs, that you feel was a good one for you, and getting others to accept that that's a day. That is a good day if you have felt you've achieved what is right for you. And that sounds so simple, but boy, it's hard for people when they're constantly going, but I need to also be doing the degree, being an Olympian. Well done. There's people are always asking more of themselves when they should in fact be saying, how can I both take care of myself, but also how can I live a life that is about what I see my values as being and what my success is.